Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a look back at some famous U.S. car brands that, well, aren't around anymore.
Gone, but definitely not forgotten. Many of them.
Exactly. And you wanted a quick way to understand this slice of auto history, so think of this as your shortcut. We're digging into why these big names disappeared.
And what their stories can maybe tell us about the car industry overall. It's a tough business.
For sure. We'll touch on everything from, the early luxury pioneers to the everyday cars, the sporty ones, even a supercar brand.
Right. Quite a mix. Each one really has a unique story, a different reason for eventually hitting the end of the road.
Okay, let's crank things up way back. Packard.
Yeah.
Started in 1899. That name just screams early American luxury, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It was a status symbol for decades, pre-war especially. Those cars were magnificent.
But they didn't last. What happened there? Seems like such a strong brand.
Well, part of it was perhaps being a bit slow to adapt after the war. Tastes shifted. The market wanted maybe slightly more modern, efficient designs. Packard kind of stuck to its grand pre-war image maybe a bit too long.
While others like Cadillac and Lincoln were evolving.
Exactly. They managed that transition perhaps a bit more effectively.
Then there's Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
Now that's longevity, 1897 all the way to 2004, over a century.
Incredible run, really. They were known for innovation, too, bringing new tech to the average buyer.
So why did they finally call it quits after so long?
Towards the end, I think it became harder to say what made an Oldsmobile an Oldsmobile. Within GM, there was so much sharing of parts and platforms.
So it lost its distinct identity?
Kind of, yeah. It got blurred, maybe. It wasn't clear why you'd pick an Olds over, say, a Buick or even a Chevy sometimes.
Right. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Pontiac. Now that name means performance for a lot of folks. Sporty, exciting cars.
Definitely GM's excitement division for a long time. Some really iconic models came out of Pontiac.
But they disappeared after the 2008 financial crisis. That hit GM really hard.
It really did. That crisis forced GM and Ford and Chrysler, too, to make some incredibly tough decisions. Shedding brands was, unfortunately, part of the survival plan. Pontiac was one of the casualties.
It shows how vulnerable even established names can be when the economy tanks.
Absolutely. A major stress test for the whole industry.
Let's talk Rambler. Another early one, 1900s. They took a really interesting turn after WWII, focusing on smaller, more economical cars.
Yeah, that was quite forward-thinking for the time, wasn't it? Identifying that need for practicality, for fuel efficiency relatively early on.
But they still faded away by the 80s, so finding a niche wasn't enough.
Apparently not. In the long run, maybe they didn't quite keep evolving or capturing the imagination of newer buyers. It suggests you need more than just hitting one trend.
Okay, what about Plymouth? Chrysler created them specifically for the affordable end of the market, right?
Correct, the sort of entry-level value brand. And they were hugely successful for decades, a real workhorse.
But gone by 2001. Similar story to Olds, maybe. Losing its way.
Very possibly. Again, that question of brand identity. If you're the value brand, but other brands within the same company start offering compelling value too, or if your designs don't stand out, it gets tough.
You lose your reason for being, almost.
Pretty much. Why choose the Plymouth when a Dodge offered something similar, maybe more exciting?
Let's look mid-range. Mercury. Ford's offering between Ford and Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. The idea was a step up in style, maybe a bit more performance, but not full luxury price.
A common strategy, that middle brand.
Very common, but also tricky. They can sometimes get squeezed, Not quite Ford, not quite Lincoln. Finding that distinct space can be hard. Mercury lasted a long time, though, until 2011.
And DeSoto. Chrysler launched them in the booming 20s.
Yeah, launched with a lot of optimism. Had some good years, some stylish cars.
But didn't survive Chrysler's post-war streamlining. Gone by 61.
Right. That shows it's not always just about the market. Sometimes it's internal corporate strategy, deciding which brands to focus resources on. Efficiency calls.
We should also mention the independents, like AMC American Motors. Always the underdog against the big three.
Oh, definitely. A constant struggle for them. They had some innovative ideas, some cult classics, but competing with the sheer scale of GM, Ford, and Chrysler was just monumental.
And eventually Chrysler bought them out in the late 80s.
Yeah, merged into Chrysler. A tough existence for the independents back then.
Then there was Saturn. That was a different kind of story. GM created it in the 80s specifically to fight the Japanese imports, right?
Exactly. A whole new approach, different factories, different dealer experience, the whole no-haggle pricing thing.
It had a real buzz at first. People seemed to like the concept.
They did. It was very popular initially, a different kind of car company. But maybe the momentum wasn't sustained. And it also got caught up in GM's troubles during the 2008 crisis.
So even a dedicated internal project couldn't make it through that storm.
It seems not. Maybe it didn't stay unique enough or profitable enough over the long haul.
And quickly, Mulsler, the supercar niche, extreme performance, wild designs.
Yeah, pure passion projects, really. Incredible engineering, but very low volume.
Hard to make a business case for that long term.
Very hard. Building supercars is one thing. Building a sustainable supercar business is another level of challenge entirely. They folded in 2013.
So looking across all these stories,
Mhm.
Packard, Olds, Pontiac, Plymouth, the others,
Yeah.
the big theme seems to be adaptation, right?
I think so. Adapting to changing tastes, adapting to economic shifts, adapting to new technologies and competition. The ones that couldn't or didn't adapt effectively, well, they're the ones we're talking about today.
They stalled out.
Yeah, but their legacy isn't totally gone. You can still see influences, design cues, lessons learned reflected in cars on the road now.
Right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear the auto industry is just incredibly dynamic and, frankly, pretty unforgiving. These brands show that.
Absolutely. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Looking ahead now, with this huge shift towards electric cars, towards autonomous driving, what current brands might face similar challenges? Which ones might not be around in, say, 20 or 30 years? Something for you to chew on.